Hey everyone, I'm Jason Hunt of the Wampa's Lair podcast, but if you're watching this, you probably already know that since it's on our Facebook page. And I'm back again with another discussion video. I want to make these because it's easier for me to sit down and record my thoughts, and give that out to you that way than it is for me to sit down and write everything out for like a blog post or something. So this is the easiest way I know how to connect with you guys, and I just want to, get discussion going on for listeners of our podcasts, of some of our friends' podcasts, and maybe and just the Star Wars community at large, if it goes that far. But today I want to talk about these special editions, and the DVD releases, and the Blu-ray releases, and the changes that those entail. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I do want to say that I am in no way, shape, or form intending on bashing or offending anyone who has preferences to the original trilogy, the way it was originally released. I have no intention of offending people or discounting their opinions on that. But I do think that in today's day and age, it's a lot easier to get negative about things, about these changes, and just sort of rail on that because it's popular. Let's just face it, it's popular to say, oh, well, Han shot first, that's, there's t-shirts about that. Everybody's got t-shirts, and, and the special editions, they ruined this or they ruined that. Oh, and the Blu-ray, now we have Darth Vader yelling no, and that's just ridiculous. And, then, of course, the DVDs, we had Hayden Christensen in Return of the Jedi, and, this, and, that, and it's just fun to rail. It's popular to rail on the special edition changes and the prequels, which I am not going to do. I don't do that, because I happen to like them. I like the prequels, I like the special editions, I like the DVD releases, I'm sure I would like the Blu-ray releases, I just haven't seen them because I don't have a Blu-ray player or a high-def TV, or anyone that lives nearby close enough for me to go and watch them. But I do know about a lot of the changes in the Blu-ray, but I will be primarily talking about the special editions and the DVD changes, because those are more dramatic. And obviously the first one, the big one of the big ones, I suppose, from A New Hope, well, first of all, the title, Episode 4, A New Hope, was Han not shooting first. Greedo is there, he's, when I go that solo, that was weird. But he, Han doesn't shoot first. They shoot nearly simultaneously. Well, now it's nearly simultaneously. Originally, it was Greedo and then Han in the special edition, and then it was Greedo Han in the DVD release, and apparently now in the Blu-ray it's like Greedo Han, very close. Nearly an identical shot at the same time. And I'm going to just be very honest. I grew up with the special editions as my Star Wars, so that's maybe one reason why I'm a bit open to I'm especially open to a lot of the special edition changes that most people aren't, because that was the first time I saw Star Wars. That's the first way I saw Star Wars. So am I to know if it's, better or worse than the other ones? Because that was my introduction. And I think some people forget that other people are introduced to, Star Wars differently. Which we all need to be very aware of and sensitive to. But I just want to say, Han Solo still shooting someone from under the table in a bar. It was still incredibly BA. I just don't like saying it all the way out. He's, whatever. Still, the fact that he shot second did not make him any less BA to me. I know a lot of people say, well, it changes the whole, opinion of the first impression of the character, when he shoots second or whatever. I still thought he was, scruffy looking nerf herder. But no, a smuggler, that was, willing to, kill to, stay alive, and, think with his blaster and, shoot first, ask questions later. It just happened that Greedo got the shot off first, and Greedo's completely inept, as we see in the Clone Wars. He's not very bright upstairs, which I think a lot of people found interesting. Well, how could Greedo miss from directly across the table? I mean, that was their big complaint. Well, Greedo's just right across the table. How could he miss? How could, this happen? And, well, I always got the impression, even as a small child, 7 years old, watching A New Hope, that Greedo was, like, the bottom of the barrel bounty hunter. Like, he was someone that you would send to, get your mail. You put a bounty on your mail because it blew down the street, and you'd send Greedo. And so it didn't surprise me when he missed. And then they backed that up in the Clone Wars by just giving him, proving that he's just really inept and not very smart. In the one episode, Sphere of Influence in Season 3 that he appeared in. And so Han shooting second, Greedo shooting first, didn't change the dynamic there, the first impression there of Han at all, to me. I'm trying to think of some of the other big changes that I want to address, because I'm not going to get to all of them, obviously, otherwise that would be a very long video, and I'm just sort of talking off the top of my head. One of the best changes that was made, and I don't think I'll find anyone who disagrees with this, if you do disagree, let me know and tell me why, because I'm willing to listen to a disagreement if there's a good reason to it. If you're just going to disagree for disagreement's sake, because it's a new change or whatever, then that's not a good enough reason. If you can just say, well, I don't like it, the other one looked better to me or something, then, well, that's fine. That's your opinion. That's your take on it. But if you're just going to be disagreement to be, disagree just to be disagreeable, then that's a problem. And I think a lot of people sometimes just like, well, I've taken this stand on this change and this change and this change, that those are all bad, so I have to say that the rest of these changes or most of these other changes are bad too, whether or not, I really deep down inside think that or not. But the best change, I think, that has been made to Star Wars, other than, some of the awesome new space stuff, dogfighting that was done in A New Hope at the end battle of, the Death Star, was adding Ian McDiarmid into The Empire Strikes Back. That makes that scene so much better. Just because Ian McDiarmid is the Emperor. He's that just evilness, that just... I never felt incredibly threatened by the original Emperor, because he wasn't in the special editions. Ian McDiarmid was not in the special editions, as we all know. The DVD release put him in there, because they were releasing that, when that was being released, and they were working on that and updating it. They were filming for Revenge of the Sith, so they were like, hey, we've got Ian McDiarmid, let's, get him, record this and get him into Empire Strikes Back, which is fantastic, because Ian McDiarmid has, since Return of the Jedi in 1983, he has taken that character and made it his own. And just having this weird, hodgepodge of characters and people, and I think a chimpanzee or something, to make this Emperor here, just didn't work. And having that thrown into the middle of, from the prequels to Return of the Jedi, and having that one weird bump in the road just didn't make sense anymore, just didn't look right. So when they added Ian McDiarmid in, I was just like, yes, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, George Lucas. Because that was something that was desperately needed. And then as far as Return of the Jedi, I'm going to hit two subjects. First of all, Hayden Christensen at the end. I understand, a lot of people's annoyance, downright distaste of having Hayden Christensen in, because of, whatever reason, and Carl has mentioned numerous times that it sort of takes away from the fact that at the very end, Anakin Skywalker was good, which I understand and I take completely, and I understand completely. But, it does look better when you want to look at the series as a whole. It just feels better to have that sort of tie, for me at least, to have that tie back to the prequel trilogy to say, yes, these are all connected. And this thought just occurred to me. What would have been really cool, what might be really cool is if he ever decides to, whenever he does the 3D release or whatever, if he does decide to go back and tweak that scene, at the end of the Return of the Jedi, with the ghosts, the Force ghosts, what would be really cool is have Sebastian Shaw step out, and then have Anakin's Force ghost. Wow, I just realized that my thumb was right in front of my eye. Oh, hello. Arr. Anyways, have Sebastian Shaw's ghost be the one that steps out, and then it just sort of shimmers and transforms into the Hayden Christensen ghost. Let me know what you guys think about that, because that's something that just hit me and I think would be really cool, is if it steps out as Sebastian Shaw and then turns into Hayden Christensen. Would you guys like that? That's really an interesting thought. And then the last one, of course, I'm going to address is from the Blu-ray, and I've seen the scene on YouTube, obviously not Blu-ray quality, but, Vader's no, Then the first one, I hear a lot of people say, well, the first one's okay. It's the second one where he yells out and, goes for the Emperor that gets, sort of rubs him the wrong way. And I've just seen the scene, on YouTube as that clip. But it makes sense to me that, that he would say that. I mean, the first one is sort of the internal realization, like, no, I can't let this happen. No, I can't let the Emperor kill Luke, my son, my only son, who's sacrificing himself to save me. I can't let him die in vain. That's that. The first no is that internal, no, I can't do that. No, I can't let this happen. And then the second one is the assertion of Anakin into Darth Vader, the rising up of Anakin Skywalker and the expelling of Darth Vader, as he rises up against his master, his slave master, because that's what Palpatine is. He's Vader's slave master. And that second no is that just defiance of, I am rejecting you. I am going to overthrow this. I am no longer going to be your slave. I am going to return to my son. And that is that no! And he just has to throw the Emperor over the edge. And so when you think about it that way, I think it makes a lot more sense. But obviously I've only hit like 4, maybe 5, a little bit of 5 of the changes that were made to the special editions and the DVD releases and the Blu-ray releases. So if you want to let me know your thoughts on some of the other ones, I can maybe make another one of these to respond to those and say, well, I do like this one, I don't like that one, whatever. So let me know what your thoughts are on my take, and let me know what your thoughts are on some of the other changes. And hopefully I'll be able to respond to some of those. And let me know what you think about my idea of the Sebastian Shaw transforming into Hayden Christensen ghost idea, because that's something that like I said, just hit me and I think would be really cool. So leave comments, be polite, be nice in your discussions with others. I will delete you if you're being rude and irritable and offensive. I will delete those comments. I haven't had any issues so far, but I've only released one of these. So share the video. Share the video with people. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, and until next time, this is Jason, and I will see you on our next episode of the Wampa's Lair. Where's that?